Have you ever wondered what made World War I, the Great War, so monumental? Let's dive into the conflict that reshaped the entire world in just 4 years. From 1914 to 1918, it all started with a single event, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in 1914. But this was just the spark that ignited a powder keg. Europe was already a web of complex alliances and simmering tensions. This single act of violence triggered a domino effect, pulling nation after nation into the fight. On one side, you had the Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. Against them stood the Allied Powers, a mighty coalition including Britain, France, Russia, and later, the United States. What began as a regional dispute in the Balkans quickly spiraled into a global conflict, thanks to these binding treaties. World War I is infamous for its brutal style of combat. The defining image is trench warfare. Soldiers lived in miles of muddy, disease-ridden ditches under the constant threat of enemy fire. Life in the trenches was a grim cycle of boredom, fear, and sudden, violent death. This war also saw the introduction of terrifying new technologies. For the first time, machine guns dominated the battlefield, mowing down soldiers in waves. Poison gas choked the air, tanks rumbled across no man's land, and submarines, or U-boats, stalked the seas. Above, aeroplanes engaged in dogfights, adding a new dimension to warfare. These innovations made the conflict incredibly deadly, leading to unprecedented casualties. For the first few years, the United States stayed neutral. But in 1917, they joined the Allied Powers, tipping the scales. The influx of fresh American troops and resources gave the Allies a decisive advantage. By 1918, the Central Powers could no longer sustain the fight. Germany surrendered, and an armistice was signed, ending the hostilities. The war officially concluded with the Treaty of Versailles in 1919. This treaty imposed harsh penalties on Germany, which many historians believe sowed the seeds for future conflict. The aftermath was staggering. Millions of soldiers and civilians were dead. Empires that had stood for centuries, the Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, and Russian, crumbled. The political map of Europe was redrawn, and the world was left to grapple with the immense physical and psychological scars. World War I wasn't just a war, it was a turning point in history. It changed the nature of combat, toppled old powers, and set the stage for the turbulent events of the 20th century, including World War II. It truly was the war to end all wars, or so they thought. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you next time.